The same model, 3 different ways. 14 gigabytes, 7 gigabytes, 3.5. And only one of those actually fits on the board sitting in front of me, and it's not the one you'd think. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Smart Workshop. So last time we measured this little board honestly, and we landed on the rule that governs everything, which is that your speed is your memory bandwidth divided by the size of your model. Which points at a pretty obvious lever, right? Make the model smaller. Today, we pull that lever. It's called quantization. It's the single most useful concept in local AI, and by the end of this video, you'll be able to make that trade-off yourself instead of copying somebody's settings off a forum. So let's start with what a model actually is, physically. A model is a big pile of numbers, that's it. Those numbers are called weights, and they're what the model learned during training, so when somebody says 7 billion parameter model, they mean that literally, there are 7 billion of these numbers sitting in there. Now, how do you store a number on a computer? Well, you pick a precision. Traditionally, these weights get stored as 16-bit floating point, and that's 2 bytes for every single number, so 2 bytes times 7 billion numbers gives you about 14 gigabytes. And that's the whole mystery of where that number comes from, it's just multiplication. Now, 14 gigabytes does not fit on an 8 gigabyte board. We're stuck. Unless we ask a slightly heretical question, which is, does every one of those weights really need 2 whole bytes? So here's the intuition. Say I ask you how far it is to the moon. You could say 238,855 miles, or you could just say roughly 240,000 miles. And that second answer takes a fraction of the effort to store, and for pretty much every purpose you'll ever have, it is exactly as useful. You threw away precision that wasn't doing any work. That's quantization. We store each weight with fewer bits. Take it down to 8 bits, so that's 1 byte per weight, and your 7 billion parameters becomes about 7 gigabytes, so we cut it in half. Take it down to 4 bits, now each weight is half a byte, and that 14 gigabyte model is 3.5 gigabytes. And 3.5 gigabytes fits on an 8 gigabyte board with room left over to go do something useful. Now remember the rule from last time, smaller model, proportionally faster. We didn't just make it fit, we made it about 4 times quicker. Which brings us to the obvious question. What did we break? Because we did break something, we threw information away, and the honest answer is that the damage is real, but it's not linear. And understanding that curve is really the whole skill here. So going from 16-bit down to 8-bit is very nearly free, and the quality difference is so small that you'd struggle to pick which is which in a blind test. Take the 8-bit, it's a gift. Going from 8-bit down to 4-bit does cost you something, and it's measurable. The model gets a bit more likely to lose the thread on a complicated instruction, a bit looser with precise facts, but for a huge amount of everyday work most people aren't going to notice unless they're looking for it. 4-bit is where the sweet spot lives, and that's where most of us should be. Now push further, 3 bits, 2 bits, and you fall off a cliff. Not a slope, it's a cliff. The model starts producing text that's grammatically fine and completely nonsense, and it's fascinating to watch exactly once, and then it's useless. So when you go to download a model, you're going to see these tags, Q8, Q4, Q4KM, Q5KM, and a whole pile of other variants on top of those. The number is the bits, and the letters describe how clever the scheme was about which weights to compress hardest, because it turns out some weights matter a lot more than others, and a good scheme spends its precision where it counts. For most people on most hardware, Q4KM is the right default, so just start there. Now here's the part that surprised me when it finally clicked, and it changes how you shop for models. Say you've got a fixed memory budget, let's say 8 gigabytes to play with, and you've got 2 choices. You could run a small model at full, pristine 16-bit precision, or you could run a much bigger model, squeezed down to 4 bits, in that exact same space. And almost always, the bigger model at 4 bits wins. And when you think about it, that makes sense. A bigger model just knows more, and it reasons in a deeper way, and quantization only blurs its answers slightly, while a smaller model, however perfectly you store it, never learned as much in the first place. And you can't recover knowledge that isn't there by adding decimal places. So the practical rule is you pick the biggest model that fits in your memory after quantization, and you don't spend your gigabytes storing tiny models in beautiful precision. So let's go do it. I'm going to pull the same model in 2 different quantizations right here, and we'll run the identical prompt through both of them. Here's the first one coming down, that's the 4-bit, and this one here is the 8-bit. They're both down now. Now let's run that same prompt through each of them. Watch the tokens per second on this one, and now watch the answers. And you tell me honestly whether you can spot the difference. Right. Reality check. And I want to be careful here because I just told you something that sounds an awful lot like a free lunch. Mostly just as good as doing a ton of work in that sentence, and where the bill comes due is pretty specific and pretty predictable. Quantization damage shows up first, and worst, on tasks that need precision. Now code is the big one, and it's the one that'll bite you. A model that's slightly fuzzy will hand you code that looks right and has a subtle bug sitting in it, which is arguably worse than code that just obviously fails. Math and arithmetic degrade noticeably. Long chains of reasoning where a small error at step 2 compounds by step 9, those get shakier. And any task where an exact fact matters, a name, a number, a date, that gets less reliable. Meanwhile, on summarizing, on rewriting, on classification, on drafting, on conversation, you're barely going to see it. So don't take my word for the trade-off, and don't take a forums either. Take the actual task you care about. Write yourself half a dozen test prompts where you already know the answers, and run them through 2 different quantizations. It'll cost you 20 minutes, and it'll tell you more than any benchmark chart on the internet, because it tells you about your work on your board with your prompts. And that habit, testing on your real task instead of trusting somebody's general number, that's the most valuable thing in this whole episode. So next time we get this thing off the terminal. Right now, your AI only talks to a black window on one machine, and we're going to give it a proper front door, a real chat interface you can get to from your phone, from your laptop, from the couch. And we're going to put a lock on that door because there's one mistake here that can turn your private lab into somebody else's. I'm Joe with the Smart Workshop, and I'll see you next time.